Hi friends, today we are going to discuss about one of the very interesting topics of math, fraction. What is fraction? Fraction means part of the whole thing. Means you have something and you are talking about a part of it, a fraction of it. Let's understand this with some examples. Let's say we have a pizza and we cut the pizza in 8 slices. And now I eat one out of it. So I have eaten 1 out of 8 slices. So the fraction of pizza that I have eaten will be said 1 out of 8, or you can say 1/8. And the fraction of pizza that is left is 7 out of 8. So we will call it 7/8. A fraction has two parts. The one that we are talking about and the whole thing. So how is it written? So when you have to write a fraction, if I have to say 2 out of 7, I will write 2. I will create a bar. Now this bar is also called vinculum. And then I will write the whole thing that I have. For example, here I have 7. I will write 7 below the bar. Now number written above the bar is called numerator. And number written below the bar is called denominator. So the part that you're talking about comes in the numerator and the whole thing that you have comes in the denominator. For example, 1/6. So 1 is the numerator, 6 is the denominator. 3 out of 4. 3 is the numerator, 4 is the denominator. Now how do we speak fractions? This is very important. So either let's say I have a chocolate and I'm dividing the chocolate in 3 parts and I take 1 out of it. So either I can say I have eaten 1 out of 3 or I can say I have eaten 1/3. So the number in the numerator is said as you say cardinal numbers. So 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, and the number in the denominator is said as you say ordinal numbers. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. So here I have a chocolate. I have eaten 2 parts out of it. So I have divided the chocolate in 3 parts and then eaten 2 out of it. So this will be said I have eaten 2/3. Here we have 1/4. I have a circle and I color 2 parts green. So out of 4 parts I have colored 2 parts green. So I have colored 2/4. Here I have colored 3/4. Fractions can be either proper fractions or they can be improper fractions. Now what do we mean by proper and improper? So all the fractions where denominator is bigger are called proper fractions because they make sense. So if I say I take 2 out of 15, it is making sense, right? I can take 2 out of 15. So all the fractions where denominator is bigger and numerator is smaller, we call them proper fractions. But if in the fraction given, numerator is bigger and denominator is smaller. For example, here I take 14 out of 8, 7/4, 21/17 or 9/6. In all these, denominator is smaller than the numerator. So such fractions are called improper fractions. Now there are one more type of fractions called unit fractions. So all the fractions that have the numerator 1, such fractions are called unit fractions. So for example, 1 out of 7, 1 out of 15, 1 out of 9, 1 out of 11, 1 out of 13 or 1/4. Whatever you are taking, doesn't matter how many total parts you had, but you are taking 1 every time. So such fractions are called unit fractions. Now let's again look at improper fractions. When I say 14 out of 8, definitely I cannot take 14 from 8. That means there's something missing in this, some information which is not very clearly visible. So what do? We divide the numerator with the denominator. And when you divide the numerator with the denominator, you get a type of fraction which is called mixed fraction. So all improper fractions can be converted to mixed fractions by dividing the numerator by its denominator. Now here I have 14 by 8. If I divide 14 by 8, so 8 times 1 is 8. If I subtract it, I get 6. Now I cannot divide 6 by 8 because 6 is smaller than it. So my 1 is my quotient of the part that I've already divided, and 6 is my remainder. So I will write it in the form of mixed fraction. I will write 1 plus 6 out of 8. So this 1 plus 6 out of 8 can be written as 1/6 by 8. And this type of fraction that has a whole number and a proper fraction is called mixed fraction. Now sometimes we might have to convert it back. We might have to convert a mixed fraction to improper fraction. How do we do that? So let's say you have 2 5 by 8. So to convert a mixed fraction to improper fraction, first thing is write the denominator as it is, because denominator is not going to change. Denominator is the whole thing that we have. Now multiply the denominator with the whole number. Whatever answer you get, so here 8 times 2 is 16. Add the answer. So here we are getting 16. Add that 16 to the numerator. So 16 plus 5 is 21. So now my answer is 21 by 8. So when you have to convert mixed fraction back to the improper fraction, what do? You multiply the denominator with the whole number, and whatever is the answer, you add the answer to the numerator. Now let's see if we convert this improper fraction back to the mixed fraction, do we get the same answer? So 21 divided by 8. 8 times 2 is 16. If I subtract it, I get 5 in the remainder. So this will be written as 2. 2 is the quotient, 5 is the remainder. So we'll say 2 and 5 out of 8. Right, we got the same answer. Now we have some questions for you for your practice. So convert these 3 mixed fractions to improper fractions and convert these 3 improper fractions to mixed fractions. So you can pause the video over here. Once you're done, please come back and we'll discuss the answers. Now as you're back, so I'm expecting that you've already solved the questions. So let's see the answers. So how do we convert mixed fraction to improper fraction? We will multiply the denominator with the whole number. Whatever is the answer, we will add the answer to the numerator. So let's see. 3 7 by 9 will become 34 by 9. How did I get that? 9 times 3 is 27. 27 plus 7 is 34. In the same way, 2 3 by 7 becomes 17 by 7. 5 2 by 5 becomes 27 by 5. How do we convert improper to mixed? So we will just divide the numerator with the denominator. Our quotient becomes the whole number and our remainder is yet to be divided. So 43 by 4 gives us 10 3 by 4. 28 by 9 gives us 3 1 by 9. 45 by 7 gives us 6 3 by 7. Now there's another term in fractions called equivalent fractions. What is a fraction? Fraction is a part of the whole thing. So equivalent fractions represent the same portion of the whole. Now what do I mean by that? So equivalent fractions are the fractions that have different numerators and denominators but are equal to the same value. For example, let's say I have a pizza and I divide that pizza in 4 parts. So total number of parts that I have is 4. And out of 4, I eat 2 out of it. So if I have eaten 2 parts, that means I have eaten 2/4 pizza. But 2/4 pizza, if you notice, it's exactly half pizza. So 2 by 4 is equivalent to half. In the same manner, if I say I have divided the pizza in 6 parts and I eat 3 out of it. So 3 out of 6 is again same as half, right? Now if you notice, 2/4, 1/2 or 3/6, though they have different numerators and different denominators, but they all mean the same thing. They mean half. 3/6 is half. 2/4 is half. Correct. In all way, if I say I have eaten 1 out of 2, or if I say I have eaten 2 out of 4, or if I say I have eaten 3 out of 6, in all 3 cases, I am eating half pizza. Correct? So such fractions are called equivalent fractions. What if we have to find equivalent fractions? So sometimes it's very easy to just see and say, oh, this is same as half. But sometimes you have to find, can there be more equivalent fractions to a same fraction? Yes, there can be many equivalent fractions to one fraction. How do we find them? Very easy. Just multiply the numerator and denominator with the same number. So if I have a half and I multiply the numerator and denominator both by 2, I will get 2 by 4. Or if I multiply it by 3, I will get 3/6. Or if I multiply it by 4, I'm getting 4/8. So 2/4 is again equivalent to half. 3/6 is equivalent to half. 4/8 is equivalent to half. So half, 2/4, 3/6, 4/8, all these are equivalent to each other. You can find equivalent fraction by dividing the numerator and denominator by the same number also. So for example, here I have 14/12. I can divide the numerator and denominator both by 2/2. So if I'm dividing 14/2, I get 7. If I divide 12/2, I get 6. So 7/6 is equivalent to 14/12. Similarly, 21/28. Now we have to divide the numerator and denominator by the same number. So here I can see, so we'll have to divide them by the common factor. We'll have to see which number can divide the numerator and denominator both. So I can see 21 can be divided by 7, 28 also can be divided by 7. So I'm dividing 21/28 with 7/7. I get the answer 3/4. Here I have 15/25. So I'm dividing 15 and 25 with 5/5. So I get the answer 3/5. So 15/25 is equivalent to 3/5. 21/28 is equivalent to 3 out of 4. 14/12 is equivalent to 7/6. Now all the fractions have some lowest form. Lowest form means, for example, here in the example of pizza, 2/4 was same as half pizza. 3/6 was same as half pizza. So their lowest form was half. We cannot reduce half to more smaller fraction. So that's called lowest fraction. Now how do I find lowest fraction? So for example, we have 4/12. To convert it to the lowest fraction, I will divide the numerator and denominator by a common factor. Highest common factor. Now I know 4 comes in the table of 4 and 12 also comes in the table of 4. So I will divide this by 4/4. Now if you are dividing 4/12 with 4/4, you will get 1/3. Because 4 divided by 4 is 1, 12 divided by 4 is 3. So the lowest form of 4/12 is 1/3. In the same way, 18/12, now we know 18 comes in the table of 6, 12 also comes in the table of 6. So 18 and 12 have a common factor 6. So if I divide them, I will get 3/2. So the lowest form of 18/12 is 3/2. Lowest form of 27/36. So we know 27 and 36 both come in the table of 9. So divide them by 9/9. So we got 3/4. Now if you notice, 3/4 cannot be reduced more because 3 and 4 both will not come in the same table. So this is the lowest form of 27/36. So what do? We divide them by their highest common factor. Highest common factor of the numerator and denominator. Let's say you don't have time to think about the highest common factor. Then what? Then in that case, there are some shortcuts. For example, if you have a number, let's say I have a number 32/72. Now I see that my numerator and my denominator both are ending with even number. So definitely I can divide them by 2. So what I'll do is I'll simply start by dividing them by 2/2. When I divide 32/72 with 2/2, I get 16/36. Now, my 16 and 36 are small numbers, so it's easy to see that 16 and 36 both will come in the table of 4. So, I will divide by 4/4 further, and I got the answer 4/9. Correct. Now, 4 and 9 cannot come in a common table. They cannot have a common factor. That's why 4 by 9 is the lowest form of 32 by 72. I could have divided 32 by 72 with 8 by 8 directly, but this is just for your knowledge. In case you're not able to guess the highest common factor, just look at the last digits. If you're able to, if you're getting even number in both of them, you can start by dividing it by 2 by 2. If you're getting 5 or 0, you can start by dividing them by 5. Or if they're ending with zeros, you can start by dividing them by 10. So here 108 divided by 108 out of 138. Big numbers. I don't know what is the common factor of 108 and 138. So I divided them first by 2 by 2. I got the answer 54 and 69. I don't know if 54 and 69 have a common factor. But both of them do not have the even number. So I'm trying to divide them by 3 by 3. I got 18 by 23. Now 18 by 23 cannot have a common factor. So 18 by 23 is the lowest form of 108 by 138. In 75 by 150, I started by dividing it by 5 by 5 because they were ending with 5 and 0. So I knew that 75 is also divisible by 5 and 150 is also divisible by 5. So 5 by 5, I got 15 by 30. Now it's easy. I can see 15 and 30 both are divisible by 15. So I divided them directly by 15 and I got half. The lowest form of 75 by 150 is half. Now fractions can be like and unlike also. Now what do we mean by like and unlike fractions? So all the fractions that have the same denominator are called like fractions. You can say they belong to the same family, or you can say they are friends because they are like, they are similar. How they are like, how they are similar? Because they have common denominator. The whole part is same. So for example, 2 by 7 has the denominator 7. 4 by 7 has the denominator 7. 5 by 7 has the denominator 7. Doesn't matter whatever is their numerator, because they have the same denominators. They are called like fractions. And all the fractions that do not have the same denominator are called unlike fractions. For example, 1 by 4, 2 by 6 or 2 by 7. They have different denominators. So when the denominators are different, they are called unlike fractions. Now sometimes to perform some operations, we have to make the fractions like fractions. For example, here I have 3 by 5 and 4 by 10. Now what are like fractions? Like fractions need to have the same denominator. So how do I get same denominator? So for that, what I'll do is I will find the common multiple of both the denominators. Now I can see a common multiple. Let's say I write the table of 5 and I write the table of 10. I can see that 5 times 2 is 10. 10 times 1 is also 10. So the common multiple, the first common multiple, the least common multiple of 5 and 10 is 10. So which means if I find an equivalent fraction of 3 by 5 which gives me the denominator 10, I will get two like fractions. So we'll go to step 2. I'll find the equivalent fractions of the given fractions such that the new fractions have the denominators same as the common multiple. Now here my common multiple is 10 and my second fraction 4 by 10 already has the denominator 10. So I'm not going to touch this one. I'm just going to change 3 by 5. So 3 by 5 times 2 by 2, because I know 5 times 2 will give me 10. So I'm multiplying the numerator also by 2 to find the equivalent fraction. So 3 times 2 will give me 6. 5 times 2 gives me 10. So now 6 by 10 is equivalent to 3 by 5. So I'll not take 3 by 5. I'll be taking 6 by 10. So now the two fractions that we have are 6 by 10 and 4 by 10, which are like fractions. Now in all cases, we cannot write the tables of the denominators to find the least common multiple. So there's another method which makes the task very simple. What do? How do we find the common multiple? So if you don't want to write the table, or you do not know the table, or let's say the denominator is very big and it's tough to find the common multiple, then the easiest way to find the equivalent fractions to make them like fractions is, now here I have the fractions 4 by 9 and 5 by 7, and this method is also called butterfly method. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to multiply the first fraction with the denominator of the second fraction. I'm going to multiply the second fraction with the denominator of the first fraction. So 4 by 9 will be multiplied with 7 by 7. And 5 by 7 will be multiplied with 9 by 9. So this will give me 28 by 63 and this will give me 45 by 63. Now see, I got the denominator same. So now my two like fractions that I've got is 28 by 63 and 45 by 63. Some questions for you. Find three equivalent fractions of 4 by 9. Find three equivalent fractions of 3 by 7, which is very easy. Second question, convert the following to the lowest form. Now please pause the video over here. It will not take you more than 10 or 15 minutes. Please solve these questions and come back and then continue the video. And we'll discuss the answers. So as you're back, so I hope you have solved the questions. So how do we find equivalent fractions? We multiply the numerator and denominator with the same number. So there can be unlimited equivalent fractions. So if I multiply 4 by 9 with 2 by 2, I will get 4 times 2 is 8, 9 times 2 is 18. Similarly, if I multiply 4 by 9 with 3 by 3, I'll get 12 by 27. If I multiply 4 by 9 with 4 by 4, I will get 16 by 36. And you can actually multiply the numerator and denominator with any number. It's just that it should be the same number. You have to multiply the numerator and denominator with the same number and you will get one equivalent fraction. So the equivalent fractions for 3 by 7 can be 6 by 14, 9 by 21, 12 by 28, and as I said, they can be unlimited. Now how to convert something to the lowest form? So we have to divide the numerator and denominator with the common factor. So 28 by 42 will give you 2 by 3. 35 by 45 gives you 7 by 9. If you are not able to find the highest common factor, you can simply start by dividing them by 2, then dividing by again 2 or again 4 or different numbers, and till the time you reach the lowest form, you can keep dividing. Now, how do we compare fractions? Let's say you have two like fractions. So here I have a fraction 5 by 7 and 3 by 7 and I want to compare them. Now notice both of them have the same denominator. Both of them are like fractions. So when they are like fractions, it's very easy to compare. So total we have 7. Out of 7, one is giving you 5 and another one is giving you 3. So one person is giving you 5 out of 7 and second person is giving you 3 out of 7. Who is giving you more? The person who is giving 5 out of 7 is giving more. So 5 by 7 is bigger than 3 by 7. So remember, if you have like fractions, the fraction that has the bigger numerator is bigger. Let's take the example where denominators are not same. They are unlike fractions, but numerators are same. So one person is giving you 4 out of 7 and second person is giving you 4 out of 9. Now, who is giving you more? Now here both of them are giving you 4, but one person had 7 and he is giving you 4. He is giving you more than 50%, isn't it? And second person had 9 and still he is giving 4, right? So what do you think? Who's giving more fraction? The amount is 4 from both of them. But who's giving you more fraction? Obviously, the person who had less and still giving you 4 is giving you more fraction. So remember, if the denominators are not same, but numerators are same, then the one that has the smaller denominator is the bigger fraction. This person gave us 4 even when he had 7 and this person gave us 4 even when he had 9. Correct? So this is just another way to understand it. Otherwise, yes, 4 by 7 is bigger than 4 by 9. So the smaller denominator one is bigger if the numerators are same. Now let's say you have to compare the fraction. Now neither the numerator is same nor the denominator is same. I have a fraction 4 by 7 and I have a fraction 2 by 3. I don't know if 4 by 7 is bigger or 2 by 3 is bigger. Remember, when neither numerator nor denominators are same, we have to make these fractions first like fractions. So how do we make them like fractions? So I'm going by the method butterfly method. I'm going to multiply my first fraction with the denominator of the second one. I'm going to multiply my second fraction with the denominator of the first one. So 4 by 7 multiplied with 3 by 3 gave me 12 by 21, and 2 by 3 multiplied with 7 by 7 gave me 14 by 21. Now which one is bigger? Now let's compare them. I have two like fractions, 12 by 21 and 14 by 21. So which one is bigger? 14 out of 21 is bigger than 12 out of 21. So you just have to so when the denominators are same, just compare the numerators. 14 is bigger than 12. So 14 out of 21 is bigger than 12 out of 21. So remember, when numerator and denominators are not same, make them like fractions, then compare them. Now what if you have to add or subtract two fractions? Now for addition, if the fractions are like fractions, it's very easy. Just take the denominator common and add the numerators. So keep the 7 common and add the numerators. So 6 plus 4 will give you 10 and it becomes 10 out of 7. Same goes for the subtraction. But what if the fractions are unlike fractions and you have to add or subtract? In that case, first convert these fractions to like fractions and then add or subtract. So take them as two separate fractions, find their equivalent fractions that will have the common denominator. I will multiply my first fraction with the denominator of the second one. I will multiply the second fraction with the denominator of the first one. So 4 by 7 times 5 by 5 gave me 20 by 35. 3 by 5 times 7 by 7 gave me 21 by 35. So I have two fractions, 20 by 35 and 21 by 35. Now when these are like fractions, I can add them. So 20 by 35 plus 21 by 35. 35 I'll take common and I get in the numerator I'll get 20 plus 21, which is 41. So my answer is 41 by 35. In the same way you will subtract. Some questions for you. So first let's compare these fractions and put them in the ascending order. Then solve the following fractions, which is addition and subtraction. So please pause the video over here and come back once you are done and we will discuss the answers. As you are back, so I assume that you have solved the questions. So let's see. So because in the question all the fractions were like fractions, so it was easy to put them in the ascending order. We just had to compare the numerators. So 2 by 21 was smaller, then 4 by 21, then 11 by 21 and then 18 by 21 is the biggest. In case these fractions were not like fractions, then remember first you have to make them like fractions and then put them in the order. How do we solve the fractions? In the first one, fractions are not like fractions. So first you'll have to find the equivalent fraction to convert them to the like fractions. So I am multiplying 7 by 9 with 2 by 2. I got 14 by 18. Now, so I don't have to convert 6 by 18. And 14 by 18 plus 6 by 18 gave me 20 by 18. In the second one, they were already like fractions, so I didn't have to convert them. So I just subtracted 8 from 37. So I'm just solving the numerators. I'm taking the denominator common. So this gave me 29 by 30. How do we multiply fractions? Multiplication of fractions is the easiest thing because you just have to multiply the numerator with numerator, denominator with denominator. So here I have 5 by 8 times 6 by 7. So I'll do 5 times 6, which gives me 30. I do 8 times 7, which gives me 56. So answer is 30 by 56. Let's look at the division of fraction. Now division of fraction, though sometimes looks scary, but we will make it simple. How do we make it simple? So here you have 28 by 30 divided by 2 by 7. We know that multiplication is easy in fractions. So we'll change it to the multiplication. How do we do that? We will keep the dividend. So dividend is the number that is getting divided. So here my 28 by 30 is the dividend. I'll keep that as it is. And I will change the division to multiplication, and then I will reciprocate the divisor. So how? 28 by 30 divided by 2 by 7 will be written as 28 by 30. Division changes to multiplication and we reciprocate 2 by 7. So 7 will become numerator and 2 will become denominator. So they reciprocate. They just replace each other. Okay, now when it's multiplication, it's easy. We multiply numerator with numerator, denominator with denominator, and gives me the answer to 186 by 60. What if you have to divide a fraction with a whole number? Now remember, every whole number can be written as a fraction. How can we write a whole number as a fraction? So for example, here I have 2. 2 can be written as 2 by 1 because any number divided by 1 is the number itself. So 2 can be written as 2 by 1. 2 divided by 1 is 2 only. So you can always write 2 as 2 by 1. And then you can solve it as we solved earlier. So this gives me answer 28 by 60. And if I reduce it, so it gives me 7 by 30. 32 divided by 2 by 5. Again, now in this, I have to divide a whole number with the fraction. Do the same thing. Write 32 as 32 by 1. Now you have a fraction with fraction. So keep the dividend as it is. Change the division to multiplication and reciprocate the divisor. And then multiply. So this gave me 160 by 2, which is equals to 80. So 32 divided by 2 by 5 gives me 80. Some questions. So find the product and divide these numbers. Please pause the video over here, and once you're done, please come back and let's discuss the answers. As you're back, so let's see the answers. Now, in the first question, I have 2 by 9 multiplied by 3 by 5 multiplied by 7 by 8. As it is multiplication, so we know we have to multiply the numerators. We have to multiply the denominators. So 2 times 3 times 7 gives me 42. 9 times 5 times 8 gives me 360. For the second question, we know we have to divide 5 by 9 with 10 by 27. So we will keep the dividend as it is. We'll change the division to multiplication and we will reciprocate the divisor. So 10 by 27 became 27 by 10. And then we can multiply. So this gave me a big answer, and then I reduced it to the lowest form, which gave me 3 by 2. Second one is 20 divided by 2 by 11. So we'll write 20 as 20 by 1. And then change division to multiplication and reciprocate the divisor. So 2 by 11 becomes 11 by 2, and this gave me answer 110 by 1, which is 110. Now let's see some real life examples. So let's say we have a question. A tank can hold 52 liters of water. How much water is in the tank when it is 3/4 full? Now when they are saying 3/4 full, what does that mean? That means if you divide the tank in 4 parts, and out of those 4 parts only 3 parts are full. Now that tank can hold 52 liters of water in total. So when it is full, that means if it's 4 out of 4, then it means all 4 parts are full. Then it will hold 52 liters, right? So in amount of water in one full tank is 52 liters. So amount of water in 3/4 tank will be 3/4 times 52. So you can simply multiply it and then divide it and you get the answer 39 liters. Let's take another example. After traveling for 40 kilometers, Ramu found that he had covered 4/5 of his total journey. 4/5 of his total journey means if you divide the whole journey in 5 parts, he has covered 4 out of 5 parts. 1 part is left. Correct. Now he has traveled 40 kilometers and he has covered 4/5 of his journey. So length of the journey he has covered is 40 kilometers, but we are also saying that he has covered 4/5 of the total journey. That means 4/5 of the total journey is 40 kilometers. Correct. So that means 4/5 of his total journey. So I am converting it mathematically. 4/5 of his total journey means 4/5 multiplied by total journey equals 40. So total journey equals 40 divided by 4/5. So you know how to solve it. So 40/1 multiplied by 5/4 will give you 50 kilometers. Now let's see one example from the Olympiad previous year question papers. It says the product of two fractions is 9/11. Remember, notice product of two fractions. So we were multiplying two fractions and we got the answer 9/11. If one of the fractions is 3/5, find the other fraction. So that means one fraction is 3/5 and the other fraction is something and we have to find that. So 3/5 multiplied by the other fraction gave us 9/11. Right. Now we know that if A times B equals C, then we can say A equals C divided by B. Right. Let's say if you have 2 times 3 equals 6, we can also say that 2 is equals 6 divided by 3. That means 3/5 times other fraction equals 9/11. So other fraction can be 9/11 divided by 3/5. So which gives you 15/11. That's it about fractions. I hope you will find fractions very easy after this discussion. In case you have any doubts, you can always contact me. Fractions can also be taught by some games. Fractions can also be taught through visualizations, through different types of visuals. So in case you need any help with the visuals, you can always come back to me and I can send you the visuals. And in our next session, we will cover decimals and percentage, which is again linked with fractions and a very important topic of our real life. So see you in the next class. Take care. Bye.